Hello and welcome to Southeastern 16's preview and prediction on Missouri's trip to the Food City Center to play the Vols on Wednesday night. You can catch this at 6 Central on the FCC Network. I'm your host, Chris Lee, joined by Blake Lovell and Max Barr. Max Barr, I usually throw it to you to start it off. I'll do that again. What catches your eye in this matchup between Tennessee and Missouri?
Would you have thought before the season that we would have ever said top 15 matchup between Missouri and Tennessee? That's exactly what we have here. Pretty incredible stuff. Spread's probably going to be out there near 10, but not above. I expect this to be a single-digit favorite for Tennessee. When you're looking at Missouri on the road, look no further than Saturday when they went to Starkville, one of the hardest places to play in the nation, and absolutely destroyed them. Before that, they had gone to Gainesville and beat Florida at Florida, something that almost no one does as well. This is one of the best teams that played on the road, guys.
Yeah, no, Missouri, as we've documented here, I know it's kind of surprised everyone at how good they've been this season, but while we weren't this probably high on them, thinking they were going to be a top 15 team, we thought it was there. And, I mean, look, all the pieces have come together to make it work. And, Caleb Grill has just been playing incredible, but it's not just him. It's just the entire team. I mean, it is really just the depth of Missouri. And I think when you're playing a team like Tennessee, depth's a good thing because you know how this game's going to be from a physicality standpoint. You know that, go in, and if you get in foul trouble, those kind of things. Like Tennessee's just a team that can grind you. And so I think it's a game of matchups, and we always say that, and it does feel like Missouri, at least on paper, is one of those teams that if you're trying to look at this from the standpoint of how do you beat Tennessee, there are some things that Missouri can do that I think they can have some success in Knoxville.
Yeah, I think the exciting side of the matchup will be when Missouri has the ball. Tennessee's defense ranked number one in KenPom. And I always like to look at where the red and the green intersect in the matchups. The red is places in KenPom where you're having difficulty, and the green is the places where you're really good. There's not a lot of that here, guys, because both these teams are really good on those sides of the ball. One thing of interest, Missouri gets to the free throw line a ton, Max, and so I think how this game is called could be heavily influential in the outcome.
Oh, definitely. And when you're looking at how these teams match up depth-wise, they almost couldn't be farther apart. Tennessee ranks 321st nationally in bench minutes. They do not use that bench too much. I mean, injuries have played a role in that number. But then you look at Missouri, 16th in the nation in bench minutes. They're one of the tops in the league. So when you go to the referee, the foul trouble route, I think the more fouls called, obviously, the better it bodes for the road team here in Missouri. But I think one of the main things that I'm looking at, guys, in this is the 3-point line, because Missouri has been leaning on that more and more. Not leaning on it, but they've just been excelling at it. It would probably be the better word. They're shooting the most amount of 3-point attempts in SEC play right now. Almost half, every other attempt for Missouri is a 3-pointer right now, and they're making almost 40%. Well, as Blake likes to say a lot of times when we're previewing games at Tennessee, those numbers usually don't hold up. However, 2 of the last 4 games at Tennessee, the opponents hit double-digit threes, but usually those 3-point numbers don't hold up at Tennessee.
As always, Max knows where my head's at when it comes to what are the trends when you're playing a certain team. We kind of pointed that out with Missouri against Mississippi State last time around. We said, look at all these teams that are just knocking down threes against Mississippi State. And, well, that held to form. Missouri came out, shot it well on the road in Starkville, beat them by 27. And so you do look at some of the numbers from other teams, that Tennessee has played. Well, Mississippi State was one of those teams, went 10 of 33, I think, from three. They were just trying anything and everything to get points, where they wound up scoring 56, lost by 12 in Knoxville. And then it's like you look at that Kentucky game. Well, Kentucky got the shots they wanted, 12 of 24, 50%. And then, of course, Florida Complete opposite direction, 4 of 27, 15%. So it's just, the thing is with Tennessee, like we said, they're going to push you out. They're going to frustrate you defensively. And it's just, can they do that and keep Caleb Grill from touching the ball regularly on offensive possessions? If they can, then Tennessee's going to be in a great position to win this game, because while we talk about, yes, there are other people on this Missouri team that can step up and score. That's one of the strengths of this team. We know, though, like if you look at the kind of games where Missouri just takes off, like they just all of a sudden just go nuts, right? The Florida game on the road, the game at Mississippi State, those kind of games, it's always sort of been Caleb Grill as sort of the catalyst who just completely takes over a game, and that's it. So it's a great test, because now you go up against what we always, kind of point out, two of the best defenders out there in Meshack and Ziegler. And it's just, what does Tennessee do to try to stop him? Because, like I said, even though other guys on this Missouri team can step up, the depth is one of their strengths. If you can make things hard on Caleb Grill, that does put more pressure on other guys, and it does disrupt some things a bit for Missouri offensively. So, I mean, I think it's a pretty simple matchup here from that standpoint. Like, Tennessee knows what they need to do in terms of stopping a certain guy in Caleb Grill. Missouri knows what they need to do. They need to force some turnovers to be able to get some easy baskets against a team where, if you're in the half court against Tennessee, it's hard to find those easy baskets. I mean, I think that's like the name of the game here. So,
yeah, let's flip sides. Tennessee's offense is good but erratic. Missouri's defense is also very good. What stands out to you? Obviously, the Ziegler factor. Sometimes he's prone to turn the ball over against a Missouri team that's pretty good at forcing steals and gaining possessions that way. That's one thing that I will be looking for in this one. Max, what else have you got when Tennessee's got the ball?
Rebounding. It's got to be. Milicic, thankfully, he's going to be all right. He's looks like he's back, ready to roll, and that's going to be important for them in this game with the offensive rebounding, because surprisingly, Missouri's really turned around their defensive rebounding. I mean, you look at their non-conference numbers, and they were just letting up offensive rebounds galore. I mean, they couldn't clean up the defensive glass, and you flip the numbers to just conference play only, they're second in the league in defensive rebounding. So you can tell that Dennis Gates has really challenged them in that area, and Missouri has responded. And they're going to need to keep that going, because Tennessee's third in the SEC right now in offensive rebounding. And even I think that number's a little bit is a little bit low because of, Milicic being out and the injuries and stuff. So I think the biggest thing for the Tennessee offense for me, can you get that extra rebound to kick that thing back out to Lanier to get the three ball to fall, to kick it back out to Gainey to get the three ball to fall, and then you end up winning by 6. And a few offensive rebounds may have been the difference. I think that's the biggest thing for me, at least, for the Tennessee offense. Can they hit that glass?
Well, they've been hitting the glass, and they better kick it out, because they're the worst two-point shooting team in SEC play right now, which is kind of stunning. They're shooting 44.7% from 2 in conference games. And so if you're either, if you're looking at the percentages, all right, kick it out to Lanier or Gainey for a 3, or also get the offensive rebound and just get fouled, because they're shooting pretty well from the free throw line, shooting 76% in SEC play. So, yeah, like the rebounding, as Max said, is a big part of it. We already talked about the turnover part of this whole equation. Missouri, I think, has got to force some turnovers, because they need some of those easy fast break points. I think, get a quick turnover, get down the floor. That's where, in transition, Caleb Grill can get open easier than he can just, trying to run through 8 screens and trying to lose Ziegler or Meshack. Or you can find someone else, a Tamar Bates or anyone else that we know on this team. Like we said, they can step up and have just a huge night. So, it's always like, whose game is this? Well, Missouri needs a big Josh Gray game here. They need him to use his full allotment of minutes, rebounds, fouls, whatever else. But, yeah, it's just embracing the physicality of Tennessee on the defensive side for Missouri is priority number 1. And can they just force those turnovers and make Tennessee take some tough shots? Because we've seen when Tennessee takes tough shots, sometimes they're not the most consistent team out there when it comes to just pure shooting numbers. So,
Well, Blake, didn't we see how that get the rebound, kick it out for three played out against Kentucky?
Well, yeah, but I mean, look, I don't think they're going to shoot 45 here.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
Right.
But the
Yeah.
percentages tell us it was still not a bad. I said, I mean, they're. I don't know how their percentages are so low from two, but they are.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, if you're Missouri, sure, I'm probably watching the Kentucky game and saying, all right, we're not going to leave Chaz Lanier open for threes, but if there are other guys and we play the percentages that we feel like we can test them and make them beat us, I mean, that's probably what you're going to try to do, right?
Yeah. More discussion, or are we ready to make picks?
A little bit of both.
Okay. Or you could incorporate the
We can
discussion into your
also
pick.
discuss our picks, I think, is
Yes.
also a way we could go about this.
Usually when it's at Tennessee, it's not a very hard decision to make. And when a projection for a game, as Ken Pom has it being 71-62 for Tennessee, you're assuming a spread around 9 points. It's usually not much of a decision at all. However, here, I think this is going to be a tough one. I think Missouri can use their size to make things difficult for that Tennessee offense. They're not going to play a single guy under 6'3". They're one of the taller teams overall in the SEC. They've just went to Mississippi State and looked fantastic. They went to Gainesville and won. They went to Texas. They didn't win that one. They shot 4 of 22 from 3 and still had the lead with 8 minutes left in the game. So you didn't even get any of those Caleb Grills threes, any of those. You're playing with a lead from the start, and they were still winning at Texas. Lost that one by 8. Man, I want to pick Missouri here really bad. I really do. I believe in that team. I think they're a really solid team. I can't do it. I'm picking Tennessee to win. But, sidebar, if that spread is out there at 9, I hope you guys know where I'm going to be.
I need to make up a game on you guys.
Oh,
and
my.
I know, one whole game. And this was going to be my spot until I listened to my man Blake talk it through. And I was hoping you were going to pick Missouri because there's two things that concern me. Blake brought up a fantastic point about Caleb Grill and what he means. They've got a guy who can guard him in Meshack. The other thing is free throws, guys. In conference play, Missouri has the highest free throw rate in the league. Guess who is number one in terms of not putting an opponent on the line? That's Tennessee. And I would love to see the home road splits in this because I'm going to guess it's even more pronounced in Food City Center. Hard to pick against the Vols in the food fight, so I will not. Give me Tennessee.
Oh, well, boy, you just a layup here then. We all know who I'm picking in this scenario. Anytime we get in a Missouri game and these two pick against Missouri, we know the pick. I'll just give you a little dramatic effect before we get there. But Winston Churchill once said that those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. That number 4 this year, 3 or 4
At least
for Winston. But there are 2 teams in the SEC. This is an unofficial stat, by the way. Don't hold me to this, but I am fairly certain this is accurate. And as long as you're fairly certain, that's all that matters in this era.
Yep.
So there are 2 teams that currently hold winning streaks. And remember, I call a streak anything more than 1. All right? I don't care about this whole, it's got to be 3. No, I think 2 is a streak. You're streaking at 2. All right? There are only 2 teams in the SEC that currently have a winning streak at Tennessee. Do you know who those 2 teams are? Pretty obvious.
Kentucky and Missouri.
Kentucky and Missouri are the teams that have won back-to-back games in that arena. No one else has done it in 434 years, by my calculations.
Yeah.
And therefore, Missouri has had some success in this building. And I tell you right now, I think they're set up for some success again. Caleb Grill, Tamar Bates, Mark Mitchell, Tony Perkins, Anthony Robinson, Josh Gray. We keep going down the line. They've been fantastic this season. And so, because they've been fantastic, and they've done it with us picking against them, you guys made it so easy for me. We all know who I'm picking here. Tennessee. Tennessee fans, hey,
We're sorry.
we all picked you against Florida, and it still worked out for you. You didn't get the Southeastern 16 kiss of death, but it is a contractual obligation for me that anytime these two pick against Missouri, I have to do the same thing. And so, give me Tennessee in this one.
Here's what I'd like to know. How did we get a Winston Churchill mention in this preview before we got a Dennis Gates mention? How does that keep happening?
No, because
it becomes more and more likely every time now.
The less I mention Dennis Gates, the more people keep sleeping on this Missouri team. All right? Just keep doing it. They're a top 15 team nationally now. Number 15 in your polls. Number 1 in your hearts.
There you go.
So, there you have it.
All kidding aside, confidence level from 1 to 10.
I'm not kidding.
Okay. What's your confidence level in your pick?
It's okay. All kidding aside, like this is, I mean, come on. Like as we said, we were going into the Kentucky game. The same thing we've been using all year for Tennessee is like until we see somebody do it, how can we pick against them at home? Yeah. Right? They've just been so good at home, and then Kentucky happened, and so it's like. I mean, listen, it's matchups, right? I said it earlier. I mean, I do think that applies here. I think Missouri is a tough matchup for Tennessee. I really do. We joke about our picks and the Southeastern 16 kiss of death, reverse mojo, and all this, but they seem like on paper a tough matchup. But you know what? Tennessee being shorthanded, down 2 players, Florida seemed like a tough matchup too, and Tennessee came out and won by 20. So you just never know.
Tennessee is 16 of 16 in 2-point percentage, 11th in 3-point percentage in the SEC, and ranked 4th nationally. What a weird. And I mean, we know why. It's the defense, right? But that's I look at this. Yeah. I look at their offense and go, like, only knowing that, like, how in the world is this a top 5 team?
Well, listen, that's the thing. If Tennessee's chasing in this game. If Caleb Grill comes out and gets loose, all of a sudden first half goes 5 of 7, Missouri's up 14 at halftime. I don't like that setup for Tennessee chasing. If maybe they do shoot 35 threes in this game. I don't like that. But again, it's all a matter of styles and matchups and who imposes their style in this game. That's what it comes down to. So
well, it feels like in that building, like the teams combined for about 20 points in the first 10 minutes lately, or maybe not just lately.
Yeah. Missouri's lost 1 game this year by double digits. Now that was they were getting worked pretty good at Auburn, but pretty much everyone that goes there does that. That's it. It's the only game they lost by double digits. They played 21 games.
Yeah, they're very good.
There you go.
All right, we will.
BRACKETBIDS.
BRACKETBIDS.
Don't just fill out a bracket. Take that college hoops experience to the next level. If you want to take Missouri to the national championship, Tennessee to the national championship, you can do it. Enter the free pick'em contest or start an auction draft league with friends, family, or coworkers. Everyone starts with the same bidding dollars. Up to you to outbid your league mates. Secure the teams you think will go the distance. Remember, multiple scoring models, including upset bonuses to reward bold picks. Track your teams with live in-game scoring. Watch the standings shift in real time. The further your teams advance, the higher you climb in the standings. For league play, use that promo code SC16 for 40% off. Download the BRACKETBIDS app today or visit BRACKETBIDS.com.
Okay, thanks for watching our preview of Tennessee and Missouri. We will be recapping that game either night of or morning after. Night of. Okay.
We will be recapping that game
live.
So catch us live. How do they do that, Blake Lovell? How does someone catch us live? What would they need to do?
Well, they could do multiple things. Do you want me to list off everything they could possibly do? Or do you want me to just say they could hit the subscribe button and turn on their notifications? Because you could also do that. But
that would suffice. Yeah.
Okay.
Do that. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you don't mind. That helps our analytics. For Max Barr and Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching Southeastern 16 basketball content. We appreciate you being here. We'll see you again soon.